You want to know what kind of force can tear a planet apart? It was you. Take a look. You see an Earth that can be saved?
But this does put a smile on my face.
Hey everybody, this is going to be my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere Easter egg. So it's from actually the first 2 episodes because they did them back to back instead of just doing 1 episode. So if you're just finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get everything. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now a Friday night show. They've confirmed that it's going to be a full season, but there were some big twists that will help them deal with what's going on with Infinity War next year. And obviously, like, the big twist of the episode is an Infinity War twist. So there were a bunch of Easter eggs for the Avengers movies. So just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episodes yet. We'll also have to talk about stuff specifically during the latest Phase 3 movies. So if you're not caught up on the movies, we will be talking about that stuff. But now someone has used a different type of obelisk to transport them forward about 90 years into the future, but they're still on Earth. But Earth had been quaked apart, as they say in that footage, and then the Kree came in and basically took over this part of space and just started mining it for water, precious minerals, and sort of turned what was left of humanity into a Logan's Run situation. So if you haven't seen Logan's Run in a while, like, they all have jewels in their arms, so like when the colors change on their little bands there and everybody loses their shit talking about renewal, that's a Logan's Run thing, where it's like we're trying to help humanity, but really they're suppressing it. The whole thing about the space station that they're in is that it's not a space station at all. It was an underground bunker that, when the planet got quaked apart, became a space station that they just repurposed. So when Coulson is making all those jokes about Howard Stark and Stark technology having stuff going on in outer space, technically he's not wrong. It's just that Stark built that as an underground bunker that they're using as a space station in the future. So this is how the TV show is dealing with the events of Infinity War next year. They're basically taking all the characters off the planet and into the far future so that they don't have to worry about trying to address Thanos coming to New York City and then not being able to put those characters in the movies. So we can all joke about the Defenders next year and how they're going to avoid talking about Thanos literally coming to New York City to get the Infinity Gems. But hopefully that explains how the planet was quaked apart and what the tragedy surrounding that was. It was basically the events of Infinity War, and something caused Daisy Johnson to quake the planet apart. So it's implied that she was participating in Infinity War and something happened to make her lose her mind with probably the Mind Gem. So if you haven't seen previous seasons, they've actually made references to her being able to do that. Like, she does have what you would call Omega level abilities. It's just that she hasn't unlocked those yet. So she is one of the more powerful Inhumans that's on the planet, but the TV show just hasn't pushed into that yet. So now it's basically saying that that happened during Infinity War. Thanos unlocked those abilities and used her to destroy the planet. But I think the big reason behind that is so that the people on that space station that they're on hate her if they find out. So it gives her something to feel regretful about. Like, it adds some drama to the situation. Like, oh my God, I'm the one that destroyed the planet. You probably detected all the Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy stuff going on, where, like, there were some very advanced pieces of technology, like the ship design looked like it was right out of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but there's a very original trilogy Star Wars vibe about everything, where it seems like it's really old, but they're all in the future. There was also a bunch of stuff from the Thor movies. There's also some Thor Ragnarok references going on here too. Like, Earth isn't a place, it's a people. Somebody should tell that to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people. But obviously they're going to try and save the Earth, and I think that's part of the idea. It's a relatively optimistic series, so they're probably going to find out what happened, travel back into the past by the end of the season, and then fix everything. But they made all kinds of references to Ghost Rider, to magic, to things that they thought were the big twists behind what was going on. Like magic, flaming skull, you don't think that has anything to do with what's going on? And then people like Simmons make jokes like, oh, well, I'm a biologist, but sure, I can invent time travel in the next couple of minutes, just give me a sec. So for the time being, they're stuck where they are until they find a similar obelisk that can send them back through time. But I think the idea is it's super rare and they're not going to find it for a long time. But starting at the beginning of the episode, just going through all the big Easter eggs. So I've already talked about a lot of the Infinity War stuff that was going on, but Yo-Yo makes a joke about Sword. She says, don't you guys have some sort of moon base, which is talking about Atalan and the Inhumans, or some space-based agency called Spear. She's talking about Sword. The reason why they probably can't mention Sword is because either Fox has the rights to that. I think it also has something to do with the idea that they're not doing that this season, which is the time travel explainer. Like, if it hadn't have been time travel, if they were just in outer space, they probably would have done Sword. And the roaches, as they call them, the Ridley Scott alien-looking creatures, are deep cuts from the Thor comics, so it's not the Brood. And what happened is after the Earth exploded, they basically moved in as scavengers. But as Max says, there's a big Ridley Scott alien Easter egg. Haven't you all watched the Alien movies? Don't you know what happens when the group splits up? You know who's gonna die first, making the joke about the black guy dying first. You get your Star-Lord reference when Deke comes in. He's the reluctant hero. Obviously, he's gonna help them out, but they use the framework from last season to sort of drug people and make them feel like things aren't so bad. So that's how they travel back into the past, and they find some records about history and what happened, and they drop that Infinity War bomb. For those of you asking about what's going on with Fitz, there are a number of ways that he could come back, so it's possible that he put himself into cryo sleep and he's hidden somewhere and he'll wake up in present day like, oh, I've just been sleeping this whole time trying to find you guys again. But from the look of everything, they're going to be doing everything set in the future, so either Fitz shows up inside the framework or he shows up in present day while they're in the future, so I don't think they're going to spend too much time flashing back. As far as we know, the villain of the season is going to be this Kree overseer, so it's sort of a Snowpiercer situation where the front of the train, like the top of this space station place, lives really well, the Kree live really well, and everybody down in the bottom lives really terribly. The whole idea of them taking it this far into the future, though, in outer space, means that they can do a lot of the other alien races in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So they can do Kree, they can even do the Sovereign characters. But they're so xenophobic and they're so about perfection that I don't think that they would even want to associate with any of the Kree, even though the Kree here, the Overseer, is acting a little bit like the Sovereign. But as you can see, they pull Easter eggs from all over the place, so there'll be Star Wars, there'll be classic Earth-based Marvel films, there'll be the space-based Marvel films that we've had in Phase 3, like Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. But aside from Ghost Rider references, those were all the big Easter eggs, and if you're wondering if Ghost Rider is coming back, they did specifically reference during the episode that Coulson's deal with the writer would come due at a certain point, so that's the way they're going to bring Ghost Rider back. The spirit of vengeance will fill him. But because of this twist, we don't know what's going on with Robbie Reyes, so the war he was talking about at the end of last season was Infinity War. But now that they're in the future, it sounds like they've taken a different spin on that. And even though the writer would keep Robbie Reyes alive, so he would be alive in 90 years, but I don't think that's going to happen till much later this season. I think that when they mentioned that in the first episode, it was just foreshadowing for stuff that would be coming much, much later. But let me know in the comments if you spotted any other big Marvel Easter eggs that I didn't mention in the video, and let me know what you thought of the episode. What do you think of the big twist this season? And do you think that this will bring a lot of people back because they're being so crazy and so integrated with the twists of Infinity War? I've got some new Flash Season 4, Reverse Flash, and Infinity War that I'll be posting in the next couple of days, but leave all your Marvel requests in the comments below. And there will be a new round of the giveaway when I post that Flash video in a couple hours. But while you wait for everything, you can click here to rewatch the Infinity War trailer, and you can click here for the teaser for Robin in the new Titans TV series. They finally dropped the first look. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.